Last night, the Raptors unveiled a tribute to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. at their game against the Dallas Mavericks. Take a look.
Martin Luther King Jr. was a civil rights leader who tirelessly fought for racial, social, and economic justice. He was assassinated in 1968. In 1979, a bill was voted on in the United States Congress to make his birthday a national holiday. It wasn't until 1983 when President Ronald Reagan signed off, officially observing Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Martin Luther King Jr. means everything to me. He's a man that I wish I had an opportunity to meet. You know, he had a dream, and I'm able to live that dream, and I wish I could personally thank him. But he's also spoken on something that was important in having.
Now, the artwork was created by 3 Toronto artists, including part-time professor, full-time artist and activist, Mark Stoddart. He has corporate clients like Nike and Universal Music. His work's featured in scores of galleries and in private collections of athletes and celebrities. And he also worked on last summer's Raptors Black Lives Matter artwork that we're all very familiar with. Let's welcome Mark Stoddart to the show this morning. How are you today, sir?
Amazing. Good morning. Thank you for bringing me on.
You know, this project, it actually sounds like it was designed for you as much as you were commissioned to help co-create this tribute piece to the legacy of Dr. King. Distilling his message of hope and courage into visual art, where did you begin? And give us a bit of the creative process.
Wow, where did it begin? It's always been a passion of mine. Like the 3 A's in my life is like athletics, activism, and arts. And I always find ways to kind of preserve stories through this art form of storytelling. And having the Raptors look up myself and Amy to create those T-shirts for the Black Lives Matter movement that they did in the summertime in the bubble was phenomenal for myself, because it just brings a little bit more of awareness of what I've been doing and giving the spotlight of what needs to be done. You know,
at its best, art, it provokes dialogue, it tests our assumptions. How do you define your creations, Mark? How do they intersect with popular culture, with sport, and with higher education?
It's important. I think with history doesn't repeat itself. People repeat history. So I think that as an artist like myself, I always try to find the right stories to kind of keep telling them out, and different ways of doing it, different approaches through it. Talking to students through the artworks of this illustrating and telling stories that preserves a level of consciousness, and even through clothing. Any mediums that I can kind of find my way of tapping into and just trying to provoke that kind of conversation is needed.
You know, the Raptors are role models, and the franchise really carried that water with grace and with poise during the heightened social consciousness in the playoff bubble in Florida last year. You know, from Masai speaking out immediately in the wake of George Floyd's killing, to Kyle, marching in Philadelphia, to your work with the Black Lives Matter bus and all that other artwork. Mark, do you see this racial reckoning sustaining itself and going, beyond just another moment to becoming a legitimate movement?
It's always been a movement. I think the challenge is certain spaces that people like myself can't enter. We need allies to come in and speak highly for us and create those conversations, because I think those uncomfortable conversations is needed. And when we tap into those spaces and it's happening, you can see those legitimate changes will occur. But until all people of all color come into the space of conversation and understanding our imperfections, but at the same time understanding that we need to unify as one, as human beings, then you see the world being a better place.
Yeah. I guess part of what you do is disruption and disturbing, just upsetting the apple cart just a little bit, maybe a lot.
No, a lot.
A lot.
A lot.
Yeah. Mark, this is a big one to get you out of here on. Dr. King had a dream. What's yours for Black youth and, the greater society post-COVID?
Legacy. Anyone who knows me, that's the one standpoint that I speak on. That's the ending it off. There's 2 things that are guaranteed in life: the day that you're born and the day that you die. It's that dash in between. What is it that you're going to do to preserve your legacy, that blueprint for the next crop of kids to see and move on to? Well
said. Mark Stoddart, we thank you so much for giving us your time early this morning here on CP24 Breakfast. Love the work. Love everything you do. Keep doing it.
Thank you. Take care of yourself.
You too.
All right.